Hey there, and welcome back to another episode of On the Trail. Short episodes answering common questions therapists have about websites, SEO, and online marketing as they grow their private practice. I'm your host, Daniel Fava. So today, I want to talk about your FAQ page. It sounds boring, but it actually is a very important page. It might be one of the most underrated pages on your private practice website. And most therapists and practices, they either don't have one or they treat it as like a parking lot for like leftover content. Just throw it in the FAQ. So today, I want to show you why that's costing you traffic, time, and clients, and of course, how to fix it. So in this episode, you'll learn why an FAQ page is doing more for your practice than you think and a smarter way to use FAQ that most practice owners miss. So you've probably had this happen before. The phone rings or you have an email in your inbox and there's the same 5 questions. Do you take insurance? How much is a session? Are you in person? Do you see kids? Whatever it is, general questions. And meanwhile, your website is getting visitors, but they're not turning into booked consults or booked clients. So those are, 2 problems that you have in your practice. And it's the same cause, is that your site isn't answering the questions people are already asking. And your potential clients, they've got questions before they ever pick up the phone. And if your site doesn't answer them, then they're going to close that tab and they're going to Google someone who will. They're not finding what they're looking for on your website. And rather than pick up the phone and talk to a stranger, you're going to go to a website or another practice that answers those questions right away. And so there's this idea that, FAQ, it's just a nice to have. It's just filler content. It's just something you put in the bottom of the navigation when you can't think of anything else. But FAQ pages are some of the highest intent pages on your whole site because people reading those FAQs, they're not just browsing, they're past the point of like, oh, what services does this practice provide? But they're going deeper. They're going one step deeper and they're vetting you, to understand, are you the answer to their challenges? And these folks, they are the closest ones to booking with you. And they just need a few questions answered before they pick up that phone and schedule that session. So treating this FAQ page like an afterthought is really, leaving money on the table. And so one of the first reasons that FAQ pages matter, and they matter even more as of late, is that, and a lot of people miss this, is that they are really great for SEO real estate on your website. People type questions into Google. Do therapists take insurance in Atlanta? How much is therapy per session, or how much is therapy per session in Atlanta? What's the difference between a therapist and a psychologist? People are asking questions. That's what, they're using search for. And so your FAQ is built to match the exact way that people search. So each question and answer that you have in your FAQ page is a chance to naturally include the words your ideal client is typing in. And one of the big aspects of this that takes it even further for SEO, I can't speak today, is what's called internal linking. That is when you link one page of related content to another page. So inside an FAQ answer, you can link to a relevant service page. So when you answer a question on your FAQ, what does your practice specialize in? And then the answer is, we specialize in trauma therapy. You can learn more about our trauma services here. And then you can hyperlink that text, learn more about our trauma services here. That takes you over to a trauma therapy service landing page. And that helps Google understand your site, and it pulls visitors deeper into your site and into the content, to answer even more questions. And so there is this thing also behind the scenes when it comes to SEO is something called FAQ schema. And so, if you were working with a developer on your website, it's something that you can add into the code to structure it so that Google really understands what that page is about. It understands it's an FAQ page, and then it helps, increase your SEO and your visibility. Okay. And so we talked about the SEO benefits here. So let's talk about the administration benefits, the admin benefits of FAQs. And this is one that you likely feel a lot on the phone and on the inbox. You are constantly answering the same question over and over. Do you take Aetna? Do you take this? How much is a session? And so your time should really be spent focused on serving your clients and, in the therapy room. But, you're spending a lot of time answering questions, or there's a lot of back and forth before somebody books. So why not make sure that all those questions and all those answers live on your site? And so the people who do reach out to you, finally, they likely have read through your content and your FAQ. They feel like they've had most of their questions answered. So when they get on the phone, they are ready to work with you already because you answered their questions. So this can also increase conversion rates for folks who reach out to you, but it can also, really lower that time, that admin time that you're spending, answering all of these questions. So that consult call, if you're doing like a free consultation, it shifts from all the logistics and some awkward stuff to actual, like, let's talk about where you're at now, where you want to go. How can our services help you focus in on that? And that can often increase your conversions with folks who reach out to you. And another reason that I do want to discuss about your FAQ page is building trust. And this one I think, matters a lot. A good FAQ page builds trust before anyone ever talks to you, because therapy seekers, they're nervous. They're looking for a therapist, and it's a vulnerable thing, to reach out for therapy and to contact somebody. So every unanswered question is a reason to close the tab. I don't know what to expect turns into, I'll figure this out later, I guess. And then later never comes. People get distracted, they move along. And so your FAQ page, it can really help answer those quiet, nervous questions. What happens in the first session? What if I don't know what to talk about? How do I know if we're a good fit for therapy or for this practice? And so you're not just informing people and answering those logistical questions. You can actually calm someone's nervous system with the FAQs that you have, so they feel safe, they feel seen, they're ready to take the next step. And then, and obviously that can lead to conversions. And so one thing that I see a lot is that, if you do have an FAQ page, which is great, that's really a great starting point. But one of the places that I see that get missed, that's really helpful for SEO, it kind of takes us one step further, is putting an FAQ section on each service page. Each service page is an opportunity to speak to your ideal clients. And so those ideal clients are going to have different questions for you about your service based on, the challenges they're facing. And so that's different for a couples client versus an individual client. Couples, they're going to ask questions like, what if my partner won't come? Do you take sides in the therapy room? How do we know if we need couples or individual therapy? And so that's different from if someone's coming for trauma therapy. They might be wondering, will I have to relive everything in detail, every part of my trauma? Is EMDR safe? How long until I start to feel better? Different questions based on, why they're coming to you. So if you have a section on your service landing page with those FAQs, again, it's helpful to, like what we talked about, cut down on those questions before people book, help people feel safe, seen, and trust in you. So you're answering the right question at the right moment for the right person, and you're boosting the SEO of that specific service page because it's got those specific questions about that service. And you're increasing the chance they book a consult instead of just, bouncing off. So this is one of those small things that really can pay off for a long time when it comes to your SEO. And so hour per service page, you do that. And then that can help, boost those traffic and conversions. Obviously, that's what we hope for. Just to kind of land this and do a recap here, 4 reasons why your FAQ page matters on your private practice website. Number 1, SEO traffic from the questions people are already searching. Number 2, less admin time, answering the same questions over and over. Trust building for anxious therapy seekers. And, the bonus we talked about is FAQ sections on every single service page tailored to those specific clients who are going to be reading that service page. So with that, this might have brought up some ideas or some places where that your website is maybe not doing what it could do. So what I want you to do is just open up a Google Doc, write down the top 10 questions that you get asked before somebody books, and really lean into this and get that content on your website. Well, thanks so much for listening. This is Daniel Fava. Really appreciate you checking out this On the Trail episode. Now go elevate your practice.